What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle, and today I want to go through the mods that I'm using for quality of life. Now, these are all quality of life mods. There's nothing in here that is cheat mods or anything like that. I don't personally care for cheat mods. I feel like it makes the game, it takes a lot away from the game, so I don't like anything that advances stuff cheaply or freely. I'm not interested in that, and I don't really want to make my life easier. These are truly just helpful quality of life mods. So like if you were to go in here to like the semi stuff, a lot of these do things for you, like the auto loot. I don't really want to do any of that. A lot of these I just don't care for, so I don't bother with. But one of the ones that came up here, this show Slayer task thing here, I really liked this one, and this is what prompted me to do this video. For the most part, the modding community has not done a whole lot outside of cheat mods, unfortunately. I want to do a video at some point of what modding could be in this game, because I've seen some really cool stuff posted on Reddit there for a little bit. And there's definitely other games that have some really good examples of what could be if somebody would just start modding things and not just try to cheat things or make it go quicker or easier or whatever. The cheats and stuff like that are fine. That's whatever. What I'm hopeful for is the people that go in and do the cheat modding actually sit down and think about doing other things with the modding knowledge that they have. Like you could do a total conversion mod of this and do all kind of other cool things, but that's not why we're here today. So I wanted to run through these mods. I've done this video before, but I wanted to do it again because I have a couple of new ones. And I think I've added some over time and I've mentioned them in various videos, but I haven't done like a whole mod video altogether. So let's dive in. The first one is this item uses. Now, this one has not been upgraded for the current version. That's why it's sitting there with the yellow, but it still works. Everything's fine. I think one or both of these kind of had some issues. I went in and turned a couple of them off because a couple of them just didn't work very well. And they had like weird things listed, but item uses works fine. Basically what this one does is if you come up to your bank here and you go into something, say, let's see, we go into trees. It will tell you all the uses for these items. And what it's really for is like this basic furnace costs 500. So if you're trying to figure out what you want to get rid of out of your inventory, this will tell you everything that it's used for. I think it works for almost everything in the game. There might be a few things it doesn't. But one of the other things it does is, if I could find one, it also talks about township tasks. Let's see here. What was a good township task? Bones. So like this one says Elite Task 9 uses 10,000 of these bones. But it also tells you Holy Bulwark potions use it, and Lava Waterfall in the agility section uses some of them. So again, if you're trying to figure out what you want to get rid of out of your inventory, this is a great mod for this. And that's item uses. Now, quick shards, I think this is one I had before. This one is for use in summoning. So if you want to go create something in summoning and you don't have these, you would normally have to click on each one and then calculate how many you need, put the number in here, buy it, and then click on the next one and do the same thing. With quick shards, this, you just tell it how many you want, and then you click the button and it purchases it all for you. So I now have 2,000 uses of all of these, because this one takes 6,000 or 6, this takes 4 and 2. So you've got basically 6, 4, and 2 doubled. So that's how that works. And this makes it so much easier. You don't have to do any of the calculating or messing around with it. It just works and it's fantastic. Great quality of life there. The next one is this handy dandy notebook, which is this thing up here in the corner. I don't use this as much as I used to, but I started keeping, like I used to put what I wanted to do up here. That's probably what these are actually for here. But then what I started doing was saving, especially for like my new adventure account, I started saving things like this. This tells me what pillars I need, or what agility obstacles I need for thieving. So whenever I switch back and forth to do, because I might do thieving for a little bit and I may not. So I can save this. I know you can save blueprints, but you can't. If you're starting a new character, you don't have everything in place and you may not remember where all they go. And if you don't save a blueprint for it, you can have this. So that's why I started doing this. And then I put like where the circlet of Ralix and the Jewel of Ralix drops. And I have some other notes for my other characters, a little bit more because I'm actively working on my adventure account. So I've got a few more of these agility recipes, whatever you want to call it. So I know where to go look, what obstacle to look at, and then change something. And then when I switch back and forth, like astrology or agility or thieving or whatever, I just go and switch it. So the combat ones I've pretty much got memorized, but this helps out with that. Let me get out of this thing for a second here and close that down. The next one we have is combat only, hardcore and medium core combat only. I have not used this yet. I want to, but I haven't done that yet. Do I have room? Now this one here is a thieving based item. Pretty much what it's for is if you want to go start thieving off somebody, you click on them, and a lot of times there's a lot of drops. The knight is the worst one because he's got like 1 million drops on this thing. Maybe it's a squire. Maybe squire has more. Yeah, some of these have a lot. And if you're really tight on space with your bank, now this character isn't, so I can't really show you this skill in action. But if you're super tight on space, there'll be a warning that says you need like 2 more slots to thieve on this character or NPC. And it also works with stuff that you're opening, like these things. I think it'll pop up a message that says you don't have enough space in your inventory to unlock everything in here. So that's a very handy mod right there. And that is the Do I Have Room one. Now, the next one is this Shining Star mod. This is for astrology, and this one is very handy. It puts these little stars on here. So if you, basically what it's going to do is you've got 6 stars and there's 6 of these in each one of these constellations. So pretty much what happens is if you don't have anything put into here, it's going to be an open star. So when you first start leveling up that character on this skill, all these stars will be open across every one of these. And as you buy into these, they'll start filling in. I think there's 3 different states, maybe 4. There's completely wide open, then there's partially filled in, and maybe halfway filled in, I can't remember, and then there's completely full. So as you go, you can look at this. What it's useful for is if you're trying to figure out where you have to apply stars to, like where you've not applied anything at, or what's left over, you can just quickly glance at this and say, oh, this one's wide open, or this one's only half full. And you know to go in here and apply golden stardust to that one, or the regular stardust. So it's super easy. And then once you're done with this, once you've got all these filled in, it shows this up here with the little sparklies coming out of it. That means you're completely done. And it obviously shows them all filled in. This is very handy when you're trying to just pick out a place to spend some stardust and stuff like that, or figure out what to go work on next or what you need to work on. It would be awesome if this was incorporated into the game, because this feels like a feature that should just be there. And this is the whole point of quality of life mods like this. The next one that we have is the shop item owned indicator. Now this one is really helpful. So like anywhere in here, you're going to see it says owned. It actually tells me how many charges I have for these. It's going to tell me all the different capes that I have. This one says that the superior is owned, so I don't actually own this cape necessarily. I mean, I do, but I also own the superior version, so I don't need this one. And it comes down here for everything. If I don't own something, it will come up right here, not owned. But if I buy this, it'll change to owned. Where it's super handy is this spot right here with all this township stuff. As you start buying all this, you may forget which ones you've bought. This thing actually puts a little tick mark that says you own it, or you own the upgrade. So you don't need to own, a copy of this, and you could free up some bank slots. So very, very handy mod there. Then we go to show Slayer tier. And this is the one that really, this one down here too, but show Slayer tier is one. Actually, this is an older one. I take that back. This one I really like. Somebody put this in here. I was asking for this one day, and I think somebody pointed it out, or it just came out shortly after. I don't remember. Whoever it is my hero. You can see right here, easy task, normal task. Like this should be part of the game. If you're going to do Slayer tasks, this will actually, like this will tell you they're insane, but it doesn't tell you what kind. Well, here's mythical. So if I go to the Midnight Valley, these are legendary. If I come over here to the Afflicted City, these are all legendary. Foggy Lake, there's some master, some legendary, and some mythical. So if you're trying to figure out, like you're trying to roll this thing and see, it says hard. Well, what's all hard tasks? You can come through here and you can find, or if you're trying to roll for one specifically and you don't know what to roll for, you can just come in here and say, oh, mana cores are legendary, so I just need to keep rolling legendaries until I get that. That's a very handy thing for the Slayer tasks as you come up through those. Very useful. I love that mod. That's been very helpful. Show skill modifiers I've got disabled. I don't know if I need to or not. That one, basically, if you come up here and click on where it says combat, it will show you all the positives and negatives from stuff like astrology, agility, any of your equipment and everything. I've got it disabled. I actually deleted that out and then re-enabled it. So when it came on, I just went ahead and did the disabled part. Clean UI fixes some of the stuff in the UI. It's not updated. I don't know if I want to mess with it or not, so I've got that one disabled. Color-coded combat debuffs. This one is awesome. I like this a lot. I don't think I have. Oh, I do. So if I go into, what do we got here? Let's say these things. I know this is going to be a totally lopsided fight, but it says these things do sleep. So what it does is it color codes in their well, we could go to, this, fight these Rockins. What it does is it puts a color code on here and says this stuns this. This is another thing that should just be in the game. Like, this will tell you that this thing is going to stun you, and it's got a color code to it, so you can just look over here. There's red for bleed, green for poison, yellow for stun, sleep is whatever that color was on that other one. But there's all these different like if I come in here and fight these things, it's going to show up green for poison. Well, stun. I guess these don't poison. Thought they did. These do. So if you come in here, it's going to show green. Yeah, there's poison. It just quickly identifies what you're going to run into. And this is great for boss encounters and stuff like that, because there's a lot of white texture that you just may not catch everything if you don't read it closely enough. But this just highlights that color and makes it so much easier to find. Again, it's a huge quality of life improvement for the combat part of it. So I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I got to have that. And then this last one is show Slayer task attack style. Again, this is a minor improvement, but it's very handy. Like, it tells me melee. So I don't have to go in here and figure out, well, all right, these guys are in the arid planes and then this guy's. It just shows it right here. So if I do new task and mythical, it's going to pop up. This is melee. If I do new task and master, this is ranged. It just shows you right there. So you know what you have to attack it with. And it's the little stuff like that that just improves everything so much more, because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to dig around and go figure out what area they're at and all that stuff. It's just there. And that's the kind of stuff that I like in a mod myself. Is the things that just help out and make my life a little better while I'm playing. And a few of these I never thought of. Like this one I would have never considered. But once I saw this one, I was like, man, I have got to put that on. And the same thing with like if I go fight this and it's going to show stun or whatever, color coding this stuff in here, this text for that bleed and poison, just having that to see it and draw your eyes to it while you're fighting is awesome. It's a great mod to have. So that's all the mods that I'm running right now. Unfortunately, I feel like there's not as many mods as could be. There's some really good ones. Like these are awesome. I love these, but I would love to see a lot more. I'd like to see some total conversion mods. I'd like to see some other stuff too. These cover a lot of quality of life though. So they cover a lot of territory fast. But you know, you always want to see something more and better and all that kind of thing. So anyway, those are the mods that I'm using right now. And I just wanted to show them off because those are great mods. If you're looking for stuff like that, those are the mods that I use for quality of life. Those are the best ones that I've found. There's been some other ones that were kind of, I'm not sure if I like them or not. I know there is before anybody says anything, I know that there is the one that lets you, oh God, there's one that lets you, can't find it. It's shows you what combat's going to be like. This combat simulator or whatever. I know that one exists. I've not tried it. This one right here. For one, it's not made for the current version. And for two, it's got a giant beta written on it, which I'm sure it's good and it's great and everything. I've just not messed with it. This does exist. It is in beta. I just haven't bothered with it because of the giant beta tag on it. Oh, the only thing I really care about this for would be my hardcore character, and my hardcore character is going to be the one that I baby the most. So once that thing's out of beta or whatever, I'll take a look at it or something, but I don't really want to put my characters on it right now and rely on it. So I know that one's out there, and that's probably really a good one to look at and have, but I just haven't bothered with it yet. So anyway, those are all the mods that I use. Hopefully you found some that are interesting and helpful. And again, there's a whole bunch of other cheat ones out there. If you're interested in those, they're all they're all the semi ones in here. If you go like under most popular, you're going to see that a lot of these are the bypass agility costs, stuff like that. I don't want any of that unlimited offline. Like they're there to straight up cheat past the limitations of the game. I'm not interested in those. I just want quality of life. So anyway, that will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.